Hey, it's Matt, your average gamer, and for this one, real quick, we're going to show you how to beat the Labyrinth Sentinel boss. This can be a little bit of a gimmick fight, more or less. I'm going to go over real quick how I ended up strategizing and beating this boss after a couple of tries. It's not too bad after all, so let's get into the details. So you can see the target points that you have to shoot, and I figured out really quickly that you can hang back here, and I know some of this might be randomized, but you can hang back towards the front of the arena to get at least the majority of him. You should be able to get him down to at least half health at this point. And then there's going to be a second section which I go to. I do get sort of stuck for a second in that section, I'll talk about that, where it's another safe point more or less where you can probably or likely get the rest of them. Now, this can be a little bit difficult as far as the fight goes, but once you shoot the target points that you can see here, it opens up a hole, and as long as you're not on the flat side of the cube, you will land inside the hole safely and survive. So after you get as many targets as you can from the initial area, just kind of going around that cube and playing it safe, eventually you're going to have to make a jump to the second sections because there's going to be several of the targets that you're not going to be able to hit from that beginning area, but make sure in that beginning area that you get as many as you can get there because it is relatively safe, and we're going to end up here in a second in another safe spot. Now you're noticing I'm just letting it take damage. I'm on regular normal difficulty because this is my first journey through the game, and after that I'm going to try the harder difficulties. But personally for me, since you have that safe spot in the cubes, it's not too difficult overall if you have to move around that stuff or avoid it because you take more damage on the higher difficulties. That being said, I do end up stuck here in the corner a little bit, but more important to the point is there's this other corner where essentially the cube is always going to land in the safe spot on you, so as long as you're paying attention, you end up in the middle when it lands on you. You can stay safe in this part, which will allow you to get the majority of what's left of them as far as the targets go. And again, back here in this corner, after we made that jump, we're going to start looking at the rest of the targets, and we're going to be able to finish up this boss fight. Once I figured this out and I was able to get over here, and again, some of this may be randomized as far as the targets go, but overall, keep in mind there's going to be certain areas that are essentially safe points, where as long as you're paying attention, you're not going to get hit too much or hurt too much. If you have to dodge around the stuff, dodge around it. Again, I kind of just ended up tanking some of it. But move around a little bit, make sure the side of the cube that's broken lands on you, and you'll be safe every time. And this is definitely a gimmick fight in Remnant 2, and not everybody's the best at gimmick fights, right? In a review that I just did literally today, I'm pretty new to Remnant, I have about 10 to 15 hours in the game, I mentioned that as far as the gimmick fights in Souls-like games, some of us will have a really hard time with them, some of us will get through them fairly easily. For me, I find myself often somewhere in between, but overall there's usually always a way to do this at least smoothly. And on harder difficulties, no doubt you're probably going to want to avoid all the damage that I took here, but it doesn't matter because what you can essentially do is just move forward, follow the cube, and then end up back in that square spot, and then as long as you're in the center when the broken part of the cube lands on you, again, you're going to be safe and you're not going to have too much of an issue. And there we go, we beat the boss, quest complete. Overall, not too bad of a gimmick boss fight, only took a handful of tries. If you're looking forward to Remnant content, be sure to subscribe to this channel and definitely check out everything that's on it. This is a new side channel for me, and I'll catch you guys there.